We've come a long way from the golden era of Civics. DB series have become K series, weight has increased from under 2K to over 3K, stock 13 and 15 inch wheels have gone all the way up to 20s, and gone are the days of stock 13 by 5s. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. We would love to do these videos all the time, even pump out some more for you. So make sure you like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see more. Also, make sure to upload your car to our vehicle gallery. We do fitment battles and we give away great prizes. This month is a set of Audhon DSXs, which are right behind me. They look absolutely incredible. So just make sure to enter your car into our vehicle gallery. Not only that, you can help out others find the perfect fitment for their cars, and maybe your car will be chosen in the next month's fitment battle. All right, hope you guys enjoy it. Back to the video. So the newest generations are wider, longer, and heavier than their 30-year-old counterparts. But one thing will always remain the same. They will always get modded. There's no stopping that at all. Just like the older models, the 10th generation Civic really comes alive with some mods. Upgraded wheels and tires are some of the first things you want to do to your Civic. And let's be honest, it's not because the factory wheels completely suck. Honda's come a long way with their wheel design, but they're really too shrunken and narrow to fit that full fender arch. So we put together this fitment guide to help you find that perfect fitment for your vehicle and to fill up these arches perfectly to get your Civic looking awesome at your local car meet. So this will cover everything branded Civic from 2016 to 2021, SI, EX, sedans, hatchbacks, you name it. We're even going to talk about the Type R. And despite it having slightly different fitment needs, we'll show you that it's not that much different. So the non-Type Rs are stuck with a 5x114.3 lug pattern, pretty standard for Japanese cars, and a 12x1.5 lug pitch and a 64.1 millimeter center bore. Now on the Civic Type R, it's almost like its German counterparts got a hold of it. It is rocking a 5x120 lug pattern. One cock up the 10th gen owners could easily make is ordering the wrong PCD. The Type R has a completely different bolt pattern to its counterparts. Why? No one really knows. But to make sure you get the right one, it seems like Honda might have invited some German engineers to contribute to this generation. The difference in lug pattern isn't the only weird thing about the CTR. The CTR, of course, comes with factory donk spec wheels. We're talking about the 20-inch ridiculous, I don't know why they decided on 20s. Everyone downsizes to 18s or 19s. But other trim levels like the EX and SI came with some things between 16 and 18s. And for some reason, the engineers thought it would be cool to throw on some 20s. Might as well throw on some Asantis or 4G Autos or something. Forget the 19s. Let's make this thing a donk. Large diameter wheels can look cool when they're tucked with airbags, but really 20s? It goes against the ethos of the track-focused car that the CTR is supposed to be. Not only are they 20s, they also weigh a ton. They weigh about 29 pounds each. And the R20 tires that it comes on are ridiculously expensive. And look, your little ricer burnouts that you're going to eventually do will burn those out quite easily with the 300 horsepower that the Type R comes with. That's no slouch. So really the only argument for keeping the 20s is that's how Honda designed it. So if you want to be an OEM purist, go for it, but it shouldn't surprise you that most CTR owners choose to downsize the rims, wheels, whatever you want to call it. Even series track cars have proven smaller diameters to be effective. So let's recommend you some wheel and tire fitments for your Civic. You don't need to be a detective to see that the Type R is wider than the rest. It comes with a factory wide body kit, so the wheels will be completely different, right? Well, actually not necessarily. While the fenders are wider and so is the suspension because of the track width, besides the diameter, the factory wheels aren't too different from the non-Type R and Type R wheel. So the track width from hub to hub on all the other Civics is about 64.4 inches to 65 inches. On the SIs, it's about 64.4 to 65.1, but on the Civic Type R, it's about 67.8 to 67.4. And the biggest difference is the thickness of tire you can run. The non-Type R, for example, the EX, LX, SI, etc., everything else that Honda tries to make money off of, have a common wheel diameter of 17 to 19, but the mass majority, even from EX to Type R, are 18-inch diameters and a 8.5 to 9.5 in width. And they really are the best for daily driven fitments, as you won't need to pull as much camber as the other 10.5 and larger sizes. Now, I think you can get to flush and near flush fitment with minimal work, so let's help you out with that. So with tires, these wheel specs on a car that's stock height or slightly lowered, a 225 or 235/40 tire will fit with no rubbing issues at all. If you need something a little bit wider for your Canyon and Toge boys, the 245/40 can work, but will probably require some slight effort to make it rub free. A 245/35 might be easier to fit with its smaller sidewall, but it's not as well supported size, especially in the 17s to 18s. For the Type R, now normally aftermarket wheels are larger or the same diameter as stock. The CTR is a rare case where the majority prefer to downsize the stock 20s. Imagine some 21s on the Civic Type R. There's probably somebody who's done it already. Typically, diameters are between 18s and 20s. The lower limit is dictated by the factory Brembos, so 17s are completely out of the question. The most popular option is 18s by far, meaning the typical size is a 2-inch drop from stock, which that's a lot, okay? Let's be honest here. 2 inches is more than enough. And that's not something you see on a majority of cars. Wheel width and offset, as we alluded to, these cars aren't too much different from the other trim levels. The width is normally about a 9.5. While this is a go-to size, it's actually more common to see CTRs on a 10+ inch wide wheel. As most owners are after that wide tires, normally offsets are about 35 to 50 or a close to flush fitment. So the biggest difference is in the tires. With the extra power, you'll want some meaty tires. Luckily, the CTR's fenders can accommodate for them. From a factory, they come with 245/30, but that's a ZR20 with 18 or 19 inch diameter. So some common sizes are 255/40 or 265/35. The former is great for the car with stock suspension. The overall diameter will be similar to stock. On the other hand, a 265/35 is a little smaller overall, but this size is great for cars lowered on coilovers or even springs. So this section is for everything but the Civic Type R. Since we've already talked about it, we'll start with the basic OEM plus fitment and work to more stancy builds. So like this one, these are the Enkei T6Rs 18x8 plus 40 all around. Some Michelin Pilot Sport 4Ss, 235/40/18s. This is on OEM factory suspension, which there's no shame in ordering better wheels with conservative specs. This 2019 FK7 is running a slightly more aggressive setup than factory SI wheels, which the factories are 18x8.5 plus 50. So compared to a hella flush fender to lip fitment, it may not get you as many likes on the gram, but this kind of functional stance is a big upgrade for a daily driver. As you can imagine, no special work was needed. This combination is simply plug and play. Staying at a factory ride height, it isn't terrible with a 10th gen. With this combination of wheels and tires, the wheel gap is minimal, so bravo Honda. All right, so another one we'll be looking at are the ESR CS8s, 18x9.5 plus 35, again, all around. He's rocking some Yokohama Advan Apexes, 245/40/18s. They're a good tire and a good wheel. I ran them on my Golf. Now, and it is on iBox Sport lowering spring. So there's no problem of any rubbing or scraping if you want something with a weekend warrior potential. The setup on this FC1 Coupe might be for you. It's running a wider wheel and tire compared to the last, but nothing crazy, at least yet. With minimal or no rolling of the fenders, there will be zero rubbing or scrubbing, even with the lowering springs that it's on. This is about as far as you can go without needing to finesse the fitment, camber, fender work, etc. You know the deal. This is still beginner-friendly setup that anyone should be able to pull off. Moreover, ESR wheels cater to entry-level budgets at under $300 per wheel in these specs. Shop the whole ESR collection on our site, threepiece.us. I'm sure it'll be in the link or the editor will throw it up somewhere here. Now, we're getting into a little bit better fitments and better wheels. The Volk CE28s, 18x8.5 plus 35, once again, all around, rocking some Michelin PS4Ss. So this one is on BC Racing coilovers, and at 18x8.5, this 2021 hatch doesn't have super aggressive fitment, but you'll notice it's pretty low. BC Racing coilovers allow it to be dropped quite a bit lower than stock. We don't know the extent of work needed to pull this off, but we guess based on similar setups that this needed at least some fender rolling. Try not to do it yourself, you might crack some fenders. The stock suspension is decent on this chassis, but if you want to maximize performance or just slam it, coils are the way to go. BC Racing has a bunch of options for all different uses, including their extreme low section, which have fun messing up your bumper on driveways. It's gonna happen eventually. All right, the best wheels ever made, the Wheels Heritage Hokkaido's directional cast, 18x9.5 plus 22 all around. Again, these are some Delente, I don't really know, some 225/40/18s, and it's running -3 and -6 degrees of camber. It is of course rocking some air suspension, and if you want to go for the ultra low tucked look, you'll need that air suspension to go with it. This 19EX hatch is running some Heritage Hokkaido directional wheels with slightly more aggressive specs than the rest. This car needed modestly stretched tires and some camber, but nothing incredibly over the top except for that air suspension kit and some fenders that will need to be rolled. roll. These Heritage wheels can be ordered in pretty much any configuration you can imagine. Specs, finish, big brake friendly, however you want them, you can get them. And make sure to order them at threepiece.us. The link again will be in the description below as usual. So the Civic Type R, as promised, we put together some of our favorite wheel and tire setups for the CTR, and we'll see similar wheel specs, but with tires a couple sizes wider. Note that most CTRs here are running pretty high-end wheels. You can definitely find more budget-friendly options with the same specs. So this one is rocking some HRE Flowform FF01s, a 19x10 plus 45 all around. Once again, that's pretty common on these cars. Of course, rocking some PS4Ss, again, a really good tire, but it is 275/30/19s. 275 is pretty wide on the CTR. And believe it or not, it's still on OEM factory suspension. No rubbing or scrubbing. The Type R or not, 19s are also a popular choice. The 2019 Type R is running some 10-inch wide HRE wheels wrapped in a 275/30 tire. This is slightly wider than we recommend, but it works at stock ride height. No rubbing. So if it works, it works. If this car was lowered, you might have to go to a 265/35 instead. Now the next one, of course, played out or not, the Volk Racing TE37's 18x9.5 plus 45, again, all around. It is rocking some Pirelli P0 ASP3s, a 265/35/18, again, all around. Okay, I guess all around works for these cars. It's front wheel drive, but whatever. TE37s look great on everything, plus they save a ton of weight over the stock 20-inch wheels. Now, despite being an inch wider, these TEs come in at 18.5 pounds compared with the stock 29s. That's 10.5 pounds per wheel or 42 pounds total. That's sprung weight. This is a huge difference that you'll definitely feel even if you don't track the car. As for fitment, what more could you ask for? Some might say the offsets on this 2018 CTR could be a tad lower, but the extra space gives some breathing room to the 265/35 tires. It's crazy what a humble set of lowering springs does to these cars. Once again, no surprise, some TE37 Saga S pluses, 18x10.5 plus 42 and 18x9.5 plus 33, rocking some R888Rs, 295/30/18 in the front and 265/35 in the rear. Now it's a reverse staggered, as I was expecting to eventually see. Lowered on Swift springs, it does rub front and rear, and for comparison's sake, here's a reverse staggered set of TE37. A reverse staggered setup is doable on the CTR because of how wide the front fenders are. Also, it's front wheel drive, so you can get away with it. This setup is similar to the 18-inch TEs, Swift springs, etc., but this one is running a much wider front at 10.5 plus 42 with that 295 on it. The owner says there's rubbing, but that's expected. Trimming some plastic on the lip of the underside of the fenders might solve this, but we're unsure. With a 295, you'll probably have to live with a bit of rubbing, even with camber, trimming, and anything else to make space. And if you're curious about it, you can actually check out Steven and Jane's video. He's rocking a 295 on there as well. So here we are, Workmeister S1 3Ps at 19x10.5 plus 24 all around. Once again, he's rocking some Acceleras, 225/35/19s. It's on air suspension, so lots of trimming, but no rubbing when aired up. Of course, you're gonna rub when you're aired down. That's just how air suspension works. We needed at least one bagged fender to lip hella flush car. You'll notice this car is running a 10.5 like the last, but this one has them front and rear, and that's where the similarities end. This 19 Type R has stretched tires, much more camber than the rest, and it's on air suspension. The stance life isn't for everyone. Don't ask my front bumper. With heavily stretched 225 tires, it's not exactly a performance build. However, bags allow it to retain functionality. If it's not evident, anything in the inner fender that could be trimmed was trimmed. Along with the air suspension kit, expect to need every type of adjustable suspension arm, and maybe a mathematician to do your alignment. Don't take it to O'Reilly's or fucking Jiffy Lube. This 2019 CTR is featured in our gallery. Check it out if you'd like this kind of fitment, and don't screw up your fitment. Browse hundreds of cars in our fitment gallery, get inspired, and get it right the first try. Post your own ride to help others. So what did we learn about the 10th generation Civic fitment? Other than the right PCD 5x114 for the non-Type R and 5x120 for the Type R, still ridiculous. Other than that, there's not too much difference. The Type R can take more aggressive wheels and tires, and you should get grippier tires to tame that extra power. As far as diameters, do what most CTR owners do. Downsize to an 18 or 19. These sizes work great for non-CTRs as well, and tires are cheaper, wheels are cheaper, they're also lighter, and they'll fit your car even better. Again, I hope you guys appreciate appreciated this video, really show an extra set of love to our editors and everybody else who put this together. Leave a like, comment, and of course subscribe. I'm gonna shout out the vehicle gallery again because it's important. We would love to have your car on there. If you see a car on here and you're like, oh, my fitment's better than that, show us. Upload your car to our vehicle gallery, get entered into our monthly fitment battles. This month we are again giving away a set of Adhan DSXs. They look incredible. They come in 3 different types of finishes and all different types of sizes. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Once again, see you guys in the next one.